I thought today was one of those games where that when you look back at the first half, when you hold a team to 38% field goal percentage and 16% from three, a team that shoots the ball as well as they do, you would think you're supposed to be ahead. But the day, our offensive execution was probably as poor as it had been all year. The ball didn't move. The ball, for whatever reason, I thought we over dribbled. We didn't get the normal kick out threes, the normal penetrating pitch threes, the normal ball reversals, the back and close out. It seemed as though the day we were not nearly as sharp in our execution on the offensive end. Now, defensively, we had a hard time guarding Alvarado because, like everybody else, because he's been kind of on a tear. But when we've been averaging close to 80 points a game, and when you play a game and you score 60, then that says a lot about where our problems were in the game. You got to give Georgia Tech a lot of credit. They played so many people very, very close. I think they had a one-possession game at Louisville and Virginia, and it was a close game right down to the wire against Duke. And the day they came home, really much more determined than we were, and they outplayed us. They gutted it out. And you got to take your hat off and give them a lot of credit for Wright and Alvarado just stepping up and doing their job offensively. Tonight, we just didn't have it going offensively, and their lives are lost. And that will happen to you when you're in ACC. If you're not ready to play every night, this is what it feels like.
Leonard, I guess how disappointed were you with the possession of the ball? I mean, they had one guy with 6 steals, another guy with 5, 20 total turnovers. That hadn't been that much of a problem for you guys here lately.
Well, so because they're the number 2 team in the league in steals, it wasn't like that wasn't in the scout report. You know, it wasn't like we didn't work on it all week. It wasn't like our guys didn't expect that to happen. The day was just one of those games where they were a lot more effective in creating those turnovers than we were taking care of the ball. And sometimes you just got, it's not as much about what you don't do, what you didn't do. Sometimes the other team just outplayed you in certain areas. And they were a lot closer to being who they were. Forcing turnovers, getting steals, getting to their strong hands, finishing at the basket. That's what they did in this particular game. And, you know, you got to congratulate them, move on, learn from this game. And hopefully we'll be a lot better moving as a result of it. Normally, you know, you want to win all your games, but I doubt very seriously we were going to go undefeated. I'm just hoping that this is a loss that we learn from as opposed to one that allows us to lose our confidence, which I don't think we will.
Coach, was MJ pressing a little bit? I mean, is it possible that he had family?
This was not didn't have anything to do with MJ. The entire team, we normally make close to 230 passes a game. We were way, way down. We didn't move the ball well enough. It was like we were stepping in mud. You know, this is one of those games where we just were not as efficient as we have been. You know, I don't think we got amnesia. I don't think we forgot how to play. I just think that we were, this afternoon, Georgia Tech did a much better job playing to who they were than we did. And we came up a little short today. I like to think that we'll go back and correct this and hopefully get back to being who we've been the last several games. And I told the guys that it's easy. You go naturally is to be disappointed, but we have to go back and evaluate the film, see what our shortcomings were, correct them, and move back to where we have been. And you know, I can be nitpicking and say that it was this person, it was this player, it was this mistake. Tonight, I just thought that we were very inefficient, and we have not been that way. We've had excellent offensive execution, but this afternoon was not one of them.
As far into the season, I mean, it's already almost February, and this is, I think, only the third road game y'all have played. I mean, I guess it's obviously different this year without the full crowds and everything, but with this one and 2 more coming next week, I guess how much is important about learning about playing away from home over this stretch?
Well, Kurt, when you lose a game, you can overanalyze this. You say it's being on the road. We haven't played but 3 road games. You can come up with a lot of different things that you can just kind of try to analyze. The bottom line is that we just got outplayed. This team executed their offense. They were patient. They drove the ball. They got to the free throw line. They hit the free throws. Much better than we did. We have the depth. We have the energy. We have the athletes, and we have the skills. We just came up short but for whatever reason, our offensive execution really, I thought was so poor that it spilled over and kind of drained us on the defensive end. Now, I'm speculating because I haven't watched the game, but I don't know how many opportunities we had at the rim that we didn't finish. We had layups that we had tip ins, we had putbacks early in the game that we did not get. We didn't get the number of transition kicker heads and post-ups in the front of the lane that we normally get. That's because it seemed though we were this lethargic, we were not as sharp offensively. And I thought that really hurt us on the defensive end. If we'd have gotten some of those easy baskets that we normally get, that I think it would have energized us a little bit more, and maybe we would have had a little more pep on the defensive end. On the defensive end, I just thought that they were extremely patient. And I thought that they drove the ball, got to the foul line, hit their free throws, and had the right style of game that created a problem for us. We turned the ball over 20 times. I don't know how many turnovers they had, but I like to think that it couldn't have been that many. I don't think we got very much out of our defense tonight. We normally get steals and deflections, and we get some run-out layups or some easy three-point opportunities in transition. They kept us out of transition by taking care of the ball, and you got to give them credit for having a game plan that they executed, and they executed their game plan better than we executed ours.
Leonard, did you like at least the way the defense started? There were a lot of possessions where it seemed like Georgia Tech had a tough time even getting a shot off there to start the game.
Yes, that's what I said. When you hold somebody to 38% and 16%, you normally like to think that you're ahead. But our offense was so inefficient in this particular game where we didn't capitalize on the good defense that we were playing. And I think that's fixable. I got a lot of faces on here. You guys got any more questions?
I think we're good. Thanks, Coach.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Coach.
Take care.
Guys, we're going to bring RaiQuan Gray up here in just a few minutes.